What is up? Welcome back to Series Recaps, and today we're going to talk about the Toronto Argonauts defeating the Saskatchewan Roughriders in Week 12. Just from the jump, this game was crazy. I mean, a lot of this game was pretty close, but super chaotic, and definitely an ugly win. But I think, as Chad Kelly said in the post game, a win is a win, and I think this is where this team has been for this whole season so far, and this is definitely something that's been a recurring theme. I think this season, the complete opposite from last season, because last season was like a perfect 16-2 season. With Chad Kelly, they went 15-1. Obviously, lost in the East Final, but overall, like, a completely different season, and this is proof that's the case. And let's just get right into it. Let's talk about the game. From the jump, the Argos struggled to score in the first quarter. The first quarter ended with the Argos not getting a kick or a touchdown. It was 10-0 Roughriders. And I feel like that was mostly because Chad Kelly was adjusting to the new lineup during that first quarter. As we all know, as Argos fans, we know that he's been suspended for 9 games, and he hasn't trained with the team since May. And you could really tell that he's kind of rusty, and he wasn't sure about his receivers, because this team in the offseason really changed, and it's completely different from the team last year. And there's a lot of new players, specifically on the offensive end. And Chad Kelly is probably one of the only players from last season that's still here, especially after last year's free agency. And I think he was really trying to get used to this new lineup, and I feel like he definitely struggled in the first quarter and definitely did not look like himself. But that did change as the game went on. Chad Kelly's first drive, and I mean successful drive, in the game led to a Cameron Dukes rushing touchdown. And that was actually the Argos' last touchdown in the game, because the Argos could not convert a touchdown after that one by Dukes. And I put in my notes, the Argos had a lot of chances on offense, but they failed to convert touchdowns multiple times in this game. And I feel like that's something that is concerning, but is understandable, especially with Chad Kelly being new to the lineup, and he hasn't played a game for the Argos since November of last year. So it's understandable that he struggled in the beginning, and I would say struggled for most of this game, especially when it was first and goal or second and goal. Touchdowns that would have been converted last year easily. I think as the season goes on, at least the second half of the season going into the playoffs, I think Chad Kelly needs to build more chemistry with these players in the lineup, and it's definitely something that is a big part for the offensive coordinator of the team and the quarterback's coach to work with Chad Kelly to get used to this new team that's completely different from last year's team. And I think that will work out. I think in this game, Chad Kelly had 322 yards. Pretty good. Pretty solid for a game, and for a player that hasn't played again since November. And with the 24 completions, but no touchdowns and 1 interception. I'll be honest with you, I thought there were going to be more interceptions for Kelly in this game. All right, with the topic of Chad Kelly, there was a highlight pass to another highlight catch by DeMonte Coxey, which ended up being a incomplete pass called by the refs, which was the right call, because Coxey did drop the ball when he caught it, and that was very disappointing, because the pass that Kelly threw was amazing, and just shows that he still has that arm, and I think it's great to still see that he still has it, especially way higher than my expectations for what I expected of him going into this game. And let's talk about Coxey and the receivers, because they were great today. I think Coxey, Greer, Polk, and Devarius Daniels all had great catches and really helped the offense be great from the second quarter and on. It's just the issue is maybe when it was second and goal again, which was a huge issue for this game. But I think that would be something that would be improved, and definitely something that Ryan Dinwiddie has addressed in the film sessions they'll have this upcoming week. But another thing I think they should definitely talk about in those film sessions is more plays for Kadeem Carey. The lack of plays for Kadeem Carey in this game was very disappointing and very concerning because he was a huge part of this offense the weeks leading up to this game, and it's very disappointing to see a lot of the offense not run through him and not really them running the ball as much. And just because Chad Kelly came back, it seems like they're really trigger happy with his arm and they want to use it a lot, which I don't think is the case. Especially a guy that was suspended for 9 games. I don't think it's smart to make him throw the ball to a bunch of receivers that he's really never played before recently, at least that aren't Coxie and Devarius Daniels. And I feel like they don't understand that he's fresh, and I feel like they should have used Kadeem Carey because he's having a great season, filling in the spot that AJ Alouette left. Funny that we face his former team today, and Kadeem Carey's been having a great season with the Argos in his first season here, and I feel like they really underutilized him in this game. I think they really needed him, especially moments when they were, second and 1 or second and goal. It's very disappointing to see the Argos not utilize him, and I feel like that's something that Ryan Dinwiddie really has to adjust and is with his offensive coordinator next game against the Hamilton Tiger Cats. All right. Enough about the offense. Let's talk about the defense today. The defense in this game was a huge part of why the Argos even won this game, and I would say why they're 6-4 after this game today. And I feel like that's been their biggest strength this season, which is their defense, and that has been a huge part of this game today, and for most of the season, to be honest with you. And I feel like the biggest factor today, the defense led to 2 interceptions in the second quarter, and one of them did lead to that Duke's touchdown, and the only touchdown the Argos had the entire game, and led to a lot of the field goal kicks in this game. The defense was amazing today. Players like Jonathan Jones, Royce Mechie, Quincy Mauger, Robert Priester, Frazier Soprik, Robbie Smith, Tyson Hergott, Folarin, Ari Maldi. All these dudes should get a raise because they carried this team today and really got the Argos the dub today. And all right, let's just talk about the fourth quarter now, because that's when this game got crazy. The Argos defense was giving the Riders problems, and to be honest with you, the Roughriders defense was also giving the Argos offensive problems, and that's probably why this game was mostly a kick field goal contest, to be honest with you. But with a game like that, the game usually ends off with a winning field goal. But leading to that, before we get to the game-winning Rouge kick field goal, let's just talk about the defense at the end of it. The defense on Trevor Harris in the last seconds or the last minute was amazing. And right there, that's how you play double blue defense. That's what I'm talking about. That's why this team is 6-4 and why we are gonna probably do well in the playoffs. We'll see how that goes, and I'm excited. Maybe another run to the Grey Cup, or maybe another run to the East Final. Maybe we'll see, especially with Chad Kelly's return, and this defense gets me excited for the playoffs. But the offense has to really step their game up, and I think that's been a big problem for this season. But I think with lineups changing up so much this season on the offensive side, I think having a bit more consistency in the lineup now with Kelly will be a big plus for this team for sure. And let's get back to the defense. At the end of the game, the last minute, great defense on Trevor Harris and on the Roughriders offense. And that defensive stop by the Argos led to a controversial kick, but a kick that did lead this team to a win. And yes, the Argos win this game with a Rouge kick field goal, a rule that is, special to the CFL and different from any other American football league. But it's different, but it helped them win today. So people may not be a fan of this type of kick and rule, but a win's a win. So I think as a fan and as fans, we should take this And we should be very, very blessed that the Toronto Argonauts play in the CFL and not the NFL, because this game would have went to overtime. But thankfully, they don't play in the NFL. And we got the dub, so I'm good with that. All right, on September 2nd, the Toronto Argonauts are going to face the Hamilton Tiger Cats. And we will see you there. All right, I'm Jalen, and this has been Syrup Recaps.